Today I have a TR 800 12 by 12 and it's going to be installed onto this pad here. And I think I'm just going to go through and give you my best practices, how I put these things together. And let's start with the tracks. First thing I do is I lay out all my tracks, and I go ahead and I stand the first one up just like this. I'm gonna go ahead and screw this in place. Now that I got my first one right here screwed in place, I'm now gonna go ahead and stand all of these up into their proper place, or at least get them positioned, ready to be stood up and screwed in. Last one here. There we go. Now I'm just gonna go through and screw all these in, and then I'll go to the other side. All of this side screwed in. I'm gonna go ahead and attach this other one in. All right, the tracks are screwed in, and when you have a pad like this, you just want to ask the customer if they want it even on all four sides, if they want it closer to the front, farther to the back. In this case, they want it even on all four sides, and so it's even to the best of my ability. Next thing, I'm going to try and square this now, and the way you square it is you measure from corner to corner. 203, close to 5/8. Money. Now that you got it even on the pad and square, next thing you do is level it. Yeah. Pretty decent. Yeah. I like it. Next thing I'm going to do is just add some pressure treated wood shims right down the center, and maybe down the sides right here. And this is the reason. Even though it's all flat on the ground, there is just a little tiny space between here. So I'm just gonna shim that up and really stabilize it with my shims. Got my shims in place, and next up is the floor. All right, I have my floor in place. Little, big, little, big, little, big. And I'm gonna go ahead and screw this in. I like to start with the tongue out and flush it all the way down. And the reason for that is when I go put my next piece in, tongue into the female side, if it's not quite going in, I can butt a 2x4 here and give it a little hammer tap to secure it on in there. But if I start with the female side, flushing the female side, then that means I'm gonna have to take a hammer and hammer the male side, and you definitely want to try not to do that. Anyhow, pro tip, I guess. I don't own the fancy screw gun for these, so I just use my regular drill, and it works just fine for me. I'll go ahead and flush this side up and screw it in. But yeah, the green screws are what goes for the floor. Okay, I have all of my floor set. Now it's time to get the walls. And I'm starting with the back wall. And then I'll do one of the side walls, and then the last one is gonna be the front wall. So before I get the walls, I'm gonna go ahead and get my drill put in place, ready to fasten the wall in. And then I also need to go ahead and mark here 3.5 inches so that I know where exactly to put the wall going left and right. So I'll just go ahead and empty my bag here. And it's these 3.5 hex heads that I'm gonna need. I just grab a few of them out. Get my drill in place. So. All right, gonna go grab the wall now. All right, I got all 4 walls put into place with the TR800. I'm gonna go ahead and put some nails fastening the walls on the corners of the interior. And the next thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and fasten my walls into the framing with my 3.5 inch hex. Now, there are rules for how far apart you're gonna put these. I typically like to put them every single bay. So every bay is, these studs are every 16 inches apart. Not all sheds are 16 inches apart. Some of them are 24, but every bay, 1, 2, 3, 4, every one of them. On the door, I'm gonna put one right here and one right here. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and put one more right here. Right hand, since I'm right-handed. All right, so 2 of them on each side of the door. Now that I've fastened around the perimeter, now it's time for the gables. So I'm gonna go and grab these and I'm gonna put them in upside down. All right, now I got both my gables in, and I'm gonna go ahead and measure. Oh, this may be hard with one hand, putting this measuring tape in place. Hang on. I'm basically just gonna measure every 2 feet, basically, for the trusses. Then we'll do that. Okay, at this point of the build, I have all my trusses in, and the next thing I like to do is usually go ahead and put the roof sheathing in, and I'll show you my method of putting them in. I start with the smallest one, starting at the peak. So usually, when I go to put these pieces of roof sheathing on, I usually do it from the outside, but this is 12 feet long, and so because it's such a long stretch, if it's 10 feet, I'll just put it up from the outside. But I usually set my ladder up on the inside to put these smaller pieces in first, and then go to the outside to put the bigger sheets on. So that's my method. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab this piece of sheet, and I'm gonna take it upstairs. We're up here. So I have got my first sheet in. Start with the little sheet, and I just line it up right on the edge, and I make sure it's square going down. And yeah, so next up is this longer sheet, and the reason I start with the small sheet is because it's lightweight, it's easier to maneuver, and then the longer sheet, it's a little more difficult to handle, and I can just put it on and butt it in. And so anyway, I'm gonna put this long sheet in. All right, now that I have my roof sheathing on, I go ahead and set up all my trim pieces in place, ready for me to put those on. Usually I start on the top and I work my way down. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Now that I got all of my trim on, now I'm gonna put on the doors. These are double doors, and I'm gonna put those in right now. I actually made a video about how to install double doors for Tuff Shed, so if you want to check that out, I'll try to put a link in the description. So I'm gonna put these doors in, and I'll catch you on the next step. Okay, at this point in the build, I have all the trim pieces up. The siding has been painted. In theory, the span trim here has been painted underneath, and I pre-paint that so I don't have to go and cut in with my brush. All the other trim pieces have not been painted yet. So now that I have them all installed, I'm gonna go ahead and paint all the trim pieces with my roller. However, since today is customers applied paint and they're going to put the second coat of trim paint on there, I'm going to skip that process. So I can go ahead and put my door handle in, and I'm going to go ahead and climb up top and start putting in my drip edge. The last part of this project is the handle, drip edge, and the shingles. And then this is going to be completed. So I'm gonna go ahead and do these things, and then I'll show you the final product, which is pretty much there. But anyhow, I'm gonna get to it, finish up. Okay, it's all done. I got all the shingles on. You can see they're on. I added a drip cap and got some ramps. Pro tip, that garbage bag right there, I use it every day. I just pick up the shingles and little scrap pieces of wood, and I empty it out in the dumpster, and I reuse the bag. I can't even tell you the last time I bought a box of contractor bags. So anyway, next up is to take my trusty blower here, and I'm gonna blow out all the debris that have accumulated on the floor. And that'll be it. Well, my goal for this video was just to show you guys my process, and we all do it just a little bit different, don't we? And this is the way I do it pretty much every time, every day. And it's pretty straightforward. How long did it take me to install this? Let's see. It's 12:17 right now. I showed up at 8:30. So 4 hours. It's 12:17. So by the time I shut the door in my cab and crank up, it'll be 12:30 on the dot, I suppose. That's it. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.